In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to do a whipped back stitch. And I love this stitch because it looks so smooth, but it has a slight twist. This stitch is perfect for like creating a flower stem or outlining or lettering. It's just got a smooth look. So I'm taking my needle and thread, and I've got 6 strands I'm using here. I did that by taking out 3 strands of thread and then threading my needle and knotting the 2 ends together. So to create a whipped back stitch, you're going to start with just a regular back stitch. We are going to do a back stitch along this entire line. So I've got my knot here on the back. It's stopping my thread from going all the way through. And I'm just going to do a straight stitch. And then I'm going to come up ahead from underneath my fabric and stitch back to touch that previous stitch. So that is the back stitch. We're just going to do a simple back stitch across this entire line. If you haven't done a back stitch before, don't worry, I'm walking you through that. So I'm going to go back and touch that previous stitch. Then I'm going to come up ahead from underneath the fabric, pull that needle all the way through, and then go back and touch that previous stitch. So it's a back stitch because you come up ahead and then you go and stitch back to touch the previous. So I'm going to fill this entire line with a back stitch. The bigger your stitches, your twist on this whipped back stitch will look a little less twisty. So if you want a super twisted look, then do smaller. If you want it to look a little looser, then you can do bigger stitches. If you're embroidering on like clothing or something that will be washed, then I recommend doing about the size that I am doing, which is, I would say, about 1/2 centimeter. So I'm on my last back stitch here, and now I'm going to whip it. So I decided I'm going to do it in a different color just so you can really see the contrast. So I'm just switching out my thread colors. I'm going to use this lighter color here. So the top row I used the same color, this bottom row I'm using a different color so you can see how they both look. I'm bringing my needle up at the end of my row, and then I'm just going to slide my needle underneath that back stitch that's right next to where I just came up through the fabric. I'm not going through the fabric, I'm just sliding my needle under that stitch. Then I'm going to slide my needle underneath the next stitch. Not going through the fabric, just sliding it under. Every time that I slide my needle under the stitch, I make sure that I'm sliding the same direction. Going the same direction is important because that's what gives you the twist effect. If you switch the direction that you are sliding underneath your stitches, then it's not going to give you a twist. There's going to be an awkward straight line there. It will be noticeable, especially if you're using another color like I am. But you can see how the 2 threads are looking like they're intertwined, like it's a twist, kind of like a candy cane stripe. This is a really fun stitch to use if you were to make a candy cane for Christmas or something. But you're just sliding the needle underneath each back stitch. It's a fun stitch that is actually so easy. You just have to do a back stitch, and then this part, it just kind of finishes it off. It gives everything a nice smooth edge. So if you were working around like rounded flower petals or something with a curve and you wanted it like lettering and you wanted it to be smooth, the whipped back stitch is a really great option for that. It kind of hides each individual stitch. It makes it all look like one continuous seamless stitch. So that is how you do the whipped back stitch, and you can see here if you do just the one color of thread, then it looks like this twisted rope here at the top. And if you do the 2 colors, then again you get that same twisted look. You can just more clearly see what the stitches are doing. Subscribe to my channel for more beginner-friendly embroidery tutorials, and check the caption for links to beginner-friendly embroidery patterns and kits.